to introduce on stage Dr. Emma Philpott from IASME, who is going to be able to tell us some more about supporting self-assessment. As John was saying, IASME supports, I think it's 8,000 or 9,000, Emma will correct me, I'm sure, assessors already, and she'll also tell you about the value proposition. So Emma, I'm delighted to welcome you on stage.
Thank you very much. So I thank you very much for inviting me to come along here. So I met someone I knew here, and they said, "What are you doing here?" And that's a very good point, because we don't usually do Internet of Things security. We do Cyber Essentials, which is the very basic level of cybersecurity for small companies. Well, companies of all size, but primarily small companies. And we've been doing that over the last 5 years. And so we've brought our experience from that to the Internet of Things security. So for those who are not aware, Cyber Essentials is a UK government-run scheme. We've been involved from the start. 5 years ago, we helped them write it. We were one of the first accreditation bodies. There are 5 different accreditation bodies now, but we've just won the tender to be the only sole deliverer of Cyber Essentials from April onwards. And we do that by licensing to, at the moment, 170 certification bodies across the UK. But Cyber Essentials is just the basics. A lot of people would say it's not even the basics. It's a very, very, very low level of security. And it's just 5 controls. So very, very simple. And we've developed, it's got 2 levels of assurance, the assessments. The most basic is a self-assessment. But it's a verified self-assessment. So you have to answer all the questions, and then a trained assessor will go through your answers and mark it. And you would be surprised how many people fail. You would be surprised how many people you realize have misunderstood the question, or there's some other issue that the assessor brings up. The company then learns from that, corrects that, often relatively simply, and improves their security. There is a higher level of assurance where someone goes in and actually does a technical audit. But I want to think about the most basic level of assurance. So this is a verified self-assessment. The most important thing about that is it has to be signed by a board member. So the board member signs the bottom of those answers and says, this is all true. And it's very interesting that often this is the first thing that the board has actually seen about cybersecurity. They're suddenly presented with these declarations. Yes, we have long passwords. We don't have people using admin accounts on a day-to-day basis. And they have to sign it. And so they're taking responsibility. Usually if there's a pen test or a vulnerability test, it's just the IT department. Oh, there's something going on with the IT department at the moment. But with this verified self-assessment, they have to take responsibility and they have to sign. Now, what we would like to do is to bring our experience of Cyber Essentials and certifying companies to the world of Internet of Things. And I can see quite a lot of parallels that the security industry and a lot of people, they want to go in and they want to tackle the massive problems of low security across the industry. But it's too big and too wide and too deep and too complicated to just do it all at one time. And our experience with Cyber Essentials is if a company does one tiny step, and it's not usually up to them, usually the customer is saying, you've got to get Cyber Essentials. And they come kicking and screaming, it's too complicated, I don't understand about cybersecurity. They get Cyber Essentials because it's a tiny step. And after that, they feel good about themselves. They're like, oh, I can do this. I can be more secure. And because those technical controls are being carefully chosen, they are much more secure. Even though there's just 5 controls, they're the ones that are often the reason why that breaches happen. So they take that small step, they get a certificate, they can put the tender in, and we see time and again, they will then do more by themselves. They're so proud of themselves for taking that first step. Then they find out about pen testing, and they have a pen test done, and they feel even better about themselves. Can we use that in the world of IoT? We think so. So we've been working with the IoT Security Forum. We've been picking their brains and bringing our experience, and we have developed a very, very basic level assessment. And this is This is the basics. It's level 0, at least. We've relied on the IoT Security Forum's expertise. We've developed this verified self-assessment, which we are launching today. And it will be rolled out over the next few weeks. Companies will be able to apply. They'll be able to, just like with Cyber Essentials, see all the questions beforehand, answer those questions. An assessor will go through and make the judgment, and then they will pass or fail. And yes, it's a tiny step. And no, it's not enough. But it's something. It's going to be very low cost because it doesn't actually involve going in and auditing them. It doesn't involve any code audit. There's no evidence except for a board member signing to say that it's true. And so it will be in the region of about £300 in the same way as Cyber Essentials. And it will be a first step. Also, it's something that customers, consumers can ask for. They can say, have you got this badge? It becomes simple. So this is what we're launching today. We're working really closely with the IoT Security Forum, which obviously have got all the expertise in that area. And of course, it's not going to be perfect when we first launch it. Lots of it will be wrong. We're going to have to change it as we go along. But we've had experience of doing that. We've developed Cyber Essentials and IASME governance over the last 5 years. We have a constant rewriting of the questions, a constant tweaking of them. When we see that someone keeps getting something wrong or there's something that, doesn't really flow right, we just change it. So from all of you, I would like you to please go to our website as of tomorrow, download the questions that we've come up with, and please give your feedback and be part of this experiment in terms of one small step. And hopefully, if we can get lots of companies to do the first step, then hopefully they'll go further and improve the security as a whole. Thank you very much.
So, and I would add to that, which is, I think it's due to be published, John, or is about to be published in terms of the report.
Yeah, it'll be published tomorrow.
Excellent. So just to confirm on that point, so to pick up on Emma's point, we were asked to, again, very much to support the activity. So if you want to actually understand not just the questions, but also, as it were, how we saw what we see as it's an excellent activity. I would completely agree, it's not perfect. But hey, if we could just get rid of default passwords, it's a step in the right direction. So I'm going to say thank you very much indeed.